Hi, I'm Brien Lundin of Gold Newsletter, and I am here at the Toronto Metals Investor Forum. I'm talking now with Diane Nicolson of Amarc Resources. Diane, we talked a month ago at the Vancouver Metals Investor Forum, and you had an ear-to-ear grin on your face because you had just announced an incredible discovery, the Aurora discovery on your Joy project, joint venture. And I believe I characterized it at that point, because I was pretty much still agog at the results that you had just announced. But it would have been a major discovery at 1/3 the grades of that you got at that discovery. And it's actually of a copper gold porphyry. It's very gold rich as well. Seems like it's a bit anomalous for BC in terms of its grade. Can you talk to us a little bit about that discovery? There's much more to talk about with Amarc, and we'll get to that. But let's see if we can kind of characterize the Aurora discovery and in terms of where it is in that geological terrain and its grades.
Well, Brian, first and foremost, it's great to be here with you today. The Aurora is a high-grade gold, copper, silver porphyry. And to put that word of high-grade into perspective, it's located in our Joy District, which is in the Tootagon region of northern British Columbia. And there's been one porphyry deposit which has been mined out there, which our group actually discovered, developed, and transacted. It's known as Comess South. And the grades there for the gold was 0.6 grams, but about 0.63 grams per ton gold, about 0.21% copper, and there were 218 million tons mined. The grades which we have intersected at Aurora from surface, the grade range is higher than that of Comess. So we have considerably higher. So it's about double the gold plus, and a factor of 3 or 4 times the amount of copper. It is actually one of the richest known at this time copper gold porphyries in the province.
And to put that into perspective, the province is known for large porphyries, but lower grade porphyries that work very well because of size, because of infrastructure and everything else. So when you take that environment and then multiply the grades, I mean, really exciting.
It is exciting. There's been some developments in the province of British Columbia, which is changing some of those perceptions. So in the Golden Triangle, both the Red Chris mine, owned and operated by Newmont, and the Galore deposit, jointly owned 50-50 by Teck and Newmont, they have challenged that grade perception for British Columbia. They are higher grade, in my humble opinion. They're world-class deposits. And now the Aurora has come along, and that is also challenging that perception. So there is infrastructure. When we put all of these districts together, we purposely made them large because we want to develop true mining districts. They're all located, relatively proximal to provincial infrastructure, etc. So yes, where we're looking at the Aurora now in the Joy District is the starter pit. And on the Joy, as we announced today, we have been doing a lot of other work there. So we have actually made 2 other gold, copper, porphyry discoveries. We're expanding a known historical deposit. We have a slew of deposit targets that are ready to be drilled and tested. And we haven't even scratched the surface on this 500 square kilometer district of some of the other potential. So we're just beginning. We look on the Aurora discovery as the first day of the next phase of exploration in our Joy District. It's really blown this district apart with enormous potential, but it's also changed the perception of the Tootagon. So, and we think and we believe that the Tootagon is going to become the next Golden Triangle. And, we're seeing a lot of attention. We have Centerra in, we have Amarc in with Freeport, we have other good companies in. There's a lot of people doing a lot of good work. And I think, over the next 2 or 3 years, watch that space with the Tootagon. I think there's going to be a lot of good news coming out of it.
But that's an interesting point you made. You look at this as the starter project or a starter pit with those kinds of grades. It's going to be a keystone for whatever else is found in the region, I would think.
Well, I think so. It might be the starter pit for not just the Joy district, but whoever steps up and consolidates the district. It might be the starter pit for the whole district, not just the Joy. So, that is the way we're looking on it. It's the jewel in the crown at the current time, and it's held in Amarc.
And Amarc is a much bigger story. I mean, that's a big story. It's a big discovery. It's a big story. But Amarc's a much bigger story. As I put it today from stage and earlier, it's a story I've been following for the past few years and recommending to my readers in Gold Newsletter because of the formula. When you get so much money put into the ground on good targets in the right place by deep-pocketed partners, you dramatically lower the odds or increase the odds, rather, that you're going to make a discovery, which happened. Now, this is not the only such project or joint venture you have. Let's talk about Amarc as a whole.
So we're backed by and we work in collaboration on Joy with Freeport-McMoRan, one of the foremost global copper producers. They've been excellent partners. The deal there is they get to invest $110 million and earn up to 70% interest. They've already invested on an accelerated time frame, about $33 million. But the other projects that you're referring to, Brien, one of them is the Duke, and we're working there in collaboration and being funded by Boliden, the integrated Swedish mining smelting house. They have already invested $20 million into that project, and they've committed to another this year. Now, the Duke is a couple of years behind in its exploration history to Joy for us, and the way we do systematic district-wide exploration, which leads to these good discoveries. And then the third project we have is the IKE District, and we've chosen there to go it alone.
Yeah.
We've gone back to our more usual model, and we're self-funding. And we were out there in November last year drilling some high-grade replacement copper gold. It runs about 1% copper, a couple of grams of gold, moly and silver. So good grades over good intervals. And those results still have to come out. And hopefully we're going to get those out in Q1 this year.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, what's coming, as far as news and catalysts. You still have a lot of results coming out. And at IKE, going it alone on that project is obviously we can see the advantage of it because the targets are so obvious. You have high grade, two high grade resources, or not necessarily resources right now, but discoveries with a gap between them that needs to be filled in.
Yes, we do. They're called the Empress and Empress East deposits. They're historical deposits. We've been out and relogged all the historical drill core. We've come up with a new geological model. This year, we only got to drill the Empress and Empress East deposits. We wanted to drill that gap and see if those deposits could join, because that would be phenomenal and another great discovery in the province. But we got so caught up in the Aurora discovery, and we're a small team, and we kept extending the season. So we didn't get down to IKE to drill until into November, and basically we got 9 drill holes in. We got beaten off by the snow and the weather. It was unsafe, so we just pulled our crews off, but we'll be back in there drilling this coming summer.
Well, you have to save some discoveries for the next season, don't you, Diane?
Well, we do. We do. I think we're described as discovery junkies in Amarc Resources. We hear that phrase a lot. Yeah. And we're looking forward to making more discoveries and expanding on the known ones this coming season. Yeah,
and that's a good segue to the advantage that you offer investors at this point. You have real value backstopped by a discovery that seems likely to grow into something of really not just regional, but potentially global significance. So that's value backstopping or protecting the downside, which is important in the junior mining game. But you have more news, more discoveries potentially coming up, and a lot of money being put into the ground, a lot of drilling being done, and even as we speak, more results coming out.
Yes, we've got all of our drill results out on Joy now, but there are some surface results to come out, and some of those are related to the discovery. We have some drill results still to come out on Duke from our first summer scout drill program with Boliden. And of course, we have the Empress East higher grade drill results to come out here. We're wanting to get everything out this quarter because then we're rolling in to the next season and the next drill program. So hopefully it's going to be another great year.
One wonderful discovery under your belt and a lot of results coming out. Diane, thank you so much for telling us all about Amarc and what's coming up.
Thanks very much, Brian.